Hey y'all, my name is Susan Sparks and I'm the senior pastor here at Madison Avenue Baptist Church in New York City. We are a diverse community brought together by faith. We hope that you enjoy our service today.
Sing praise to God, our reigns above, the God of all creation, the God of power, the God of love, the God of all salvation. With healing balm my soul is filled, and every faithless murmur stilled. To God all praise and glory. Then all my gladsome way along I sing aloud your praises, that all may hear my grateful song, my voice unwearied raises. Be joyful in the Lord my heart, both soul and body bear your part. To God all praise and glory.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. All the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes.
The title of my sermon today is, What a Wonderful World This Would Be. So I have a rule about giving sermons. I will not recycle a sermon unless it's at least 5 years old. You know, even if it's 5 years old, 10 years old, 20, even 20, God forbid, I end up rewriting the whole thing anyway because there's new headlines and new examples and my voice has changed and, whatever. But today, I'm going to break that 5-year rule. I am going to preach the same sermon that I preached on this Sunday last February in 2020. It's all about Groundhog Day. And I don't know why I wouldn't, because that sermon a year ago is as applicable today as it was back then. This is really funny. Check out the opening lines of this sermon from February 2nd, 2020. You ready? It's been quite a week. Much of it tragic. We have a pandemic that is growing. We have an impeachment that is dying. And it's Super Bowl time. Day and night, night and day, the archangels are trumpeting their heavenly disappointment that Green Bay is not in the game. Nonetheless, we gather tonight in front of our TV screens with our festive beverages and delivery pizza and root for our favorite team, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. Tell me that we're not living Groundhog Day, a pandemic, an impeachment, and a Super Bowl with Kansas City and no Green Bay. 2020, 2021, nothing has changed. That's why I have decided that every year on this Sunday, the first Sunday of February, I will from now on offer a Groundhog Day sermon. Why? 2 reasons. First, and probably most important, Groundhog Day is our choir member Doug Shapiro's favorite holiday. And we got to make Doug happy, right? Can I have an amen on that? In fact, the title of my sermon today is framed around the beautiful song he sung earlier, Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World. Thank you, Doug. Shout out to you. We love you. But there's another reason that I want to do an annual Groundhog Day sermon from now on. I think it is important for us to pause every year and acknowledge the things in our lives, the things in our world that have not changed, but should. Consider the words from our scripture from Ecclesiastes. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. It's kind of a 2nd century BC version of Groundhog Day, really. Now, I'm sure everybody knows what I'm talking about when I mention Groundhog Day. It's that holiday, February 2nd, 1887 forward, where this furry brown rodent named Puxatawny Phil down in Pennsylvania is dragged out of his cage. And if it's sunny and he sees his shadow, then the superstition is we're in for 6 more weeks of winter. And if it's cloudy and there's no shadow, spring is just around the corner, I think, or the other way around, whatever. I don't even know. But it's this kind of wonderful holiday that comes around once a year that people love to talk about. And of course, it's the basis for the movie Groundhog Day, which is a major favorite at our house with Bill Murray, and we watch it, no pun intended, over and over and over. You've probably seen it, that movie about Bill Murray being the wacky, surly weatherman. And he gets caught in a kind of time warp where he makes the same mistakes over and over. He is rude to the same people over and over. He gets mad at the same things over and over. Sound familiar? I know it does for me. He does these mistakes and has the same pattern over and over until he finally realizes that the only way to break free is to change. And so each day when he's rude or selfish or judgmental, he fixes that mistake and moves on to the next day and fixes the mistake that happens that day and on until finally he gets life right. And it's in that moment when he's learned from his mistakes that he wakes up one morning and it's a brand new day. So MABC, you're going to get a groundhog sermon once a year, every Sunday, every first Sunday in February, until we all get life right. Life is one big Groundhog Day, really, when you think about it. It starts young. We all start at young. It starts early. For example, your parents say, don't touch that stove. It's dangerous. It's hot. And what do? Right? We grow older, life goes on, our mistakes become more complicated, involving love or ego or greed or ignorance. And it's the same in our personal lives as it is in our nation. The great Oxford historian Arnold Toynbee said, "Those who fail to read history are condemned to repeat it." Now, there are enough examples of this for me to preach a filibuster sermon from today all the way through next Sunday, but let's not. Let's just acknowledge one mistake, one big overarching mistake this country keeps making over and over, and that's the mistake of allowing, even promoting, injustice. I mean, look at the Native American Trail of Tears, then the Japanese internment camps, the civil rights battles, the struggles of our LGBTQIA brothers and sisters, a pattern of evils and injustices that continue to happen in our country over and over, year after year. Welcome to Groundhog Day. Let me give you one more specific example of history repeating itself with racial injustice. And it starts with Louis Armstrong and his song, A Wonderful World. Louis was a beloved musician, as most of you know him. I'm sure you've heard his music. He's always imaged with this big, joyous smile, and he has this great kind of grovelly voice. And the thing is, even though Louis presented this joyous, happy face, beneath that smile was a load of pain and anger. Yet Louis kept it hidden to protect his public persona. Kept it hidden, that is, until the race riots in Arkansas in 1957. You may remember the Arkansas governor famously deployed the state's National Guard to prevent 9 African-American students from attending classes at the high school in violation of the Supreme Court's order in Brown versus the Board of Education. Horrible riots happened. Violence ensued. And in protest of that action, and of all racist violence and civil rights violations, Armstrong canceled a tour he was booked on as cultural ambassador and on behalf of the State Department to the Soviet Union. That protest earned him the scorn and contempt of legions of whites. Even many of the students at the University of Arkansas accused Armstrong of, quote, creating an issue where there was none, end quote, and then joined the procession of groups canceling Armstrong's other scheduled concerts across the country. Fast forward 60 years. Colin Kaepernick takes a knee during the national anthem in an NFL game in protest over police brutality and racism. Almost immediately afterwards, some of Kaepernick's sponsors cancel his contract. He begins to get threats on social media, including death threats. And the pattern continues. Black leaders and celebrities, whether in politics or music or sports, enjoy public acclaim, adoration, and wealth as long as they play nice. But the second a black leader raises their voice in protest, the crowd turns. Yet another example of how deep the systemic racism in this country runs. It's the same patterns over and over. It's the same mistakes over and over. It's Groundhog Day all over again. But it doesn't have to be. I was thinking this week how hard it must have been for Louis Armstrong, after living such pain, to continue to put on a smile and sing those lyrics. What a wonderful world, when the world was anything but that. Yet he kept fighting and kept singing and kept smiling. Which made me think about the lyrics from a Sam Cooke song with basically the same title, Wonderful World, but that song had a tagline at the end that Louis' song did not, that completely changed the message. Y'all remember his song, don't know much about history, don't know much biology, don't know much about a science book, don't know much about the French I took, but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world, wait for it, it would be. What a wonderful world this would be. Unlike Louis' song, which seems to affirm the world as it is right now is a wonderful place, Sam Cooke's says we're not there yet, but it could be. It could be a wonderful world. Louis believed in a better world. Colin Kaepernick believes in a better world, and we should too. But we can do more than just believe. We can stand up. We can speak out. We can get life right. And in doing so, we can create something beautiful out of something ugly. Last week I read the most powerful piece by Rick Lawrence. He's the executive director of Vibrant Faith. And a big shout out to my friend, Pastor Ned Lindhart in Wisconsin, who turned me on to this piece, shared this article. Let me read a brief excerpt from the blog because the words are so beautiful. I often use a phrase to describe the mission of Jesus. He came to make beauty out of ugly. In a very real, practical, visceral way, beauty making and beauty revealing is exactly what Jesus is doing in the world and in our lives right now. When we experience beauty in any of its alter egos, it is simultaneously calming and staggering. Sunlight filtering through a forest of tree leaves in the fall. The embedded mask marks on the face of a healthcare first responder who's just pulled a 14-hour shift. The visceral experience of listening to live jazz in a small club and every single last thing that Jesus ever said or did. Jesus is a beauty fighter. It is like breathing to him. And in our life, our deepest impact comes when beauty fighting becomes like breathing to us. What if we followed Jesus' leads and became beauty fighters ourselves? I mean, what if we dedicated ourselves every day to making something beautiful out of something ugly? Maybe, just maybe, we might actually get life right. Brothers and sisters, we don't have to live in the same negative patterns over and over. It's easy to think that there's no escape from it, but there is. If we speak out in the pain, if we step out to fight injustice, then perhaps one day we could combine the lyrics of Louis Armstrong and Sam Cooke, and they'd both be right. I see trees so green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies so blue and clouds so bright, the bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow so pretty in the sky and also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I hear babies crying and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world this would be. And the people said, Amen.
Good morning, Madison Avenue Baptist Church. This is Richard Binder coming to you from a very snowy day in Astoria, Queens. I hope you'll join me in singing our communion hymn number 393, One Bread, One Body. One bread, one body, one Lord of all, one cup of blessing which we bless, and we, though many, throughout the earth, we are one body in this one Lord. Gentile or Jew, servant or free, woman or man, no more. One bread, one body, one Lord of all, one cup of blessing which we bless, and we, though many, throughout the earth, we are one body in this one Lord. Many the gifts, many the works, one in the Lord of all. One bread, one body, one Lord of all, one cup of blessing which we bless, and we, though many, throughout the earth, we are one body in this one Lord. Grain for the fields, scattered and grown, gathered to one for all. One bread, one body, one Lord of all, one cup of blessing which we bless, and we, though many, throughout the earth, we are one body in this one Lord.
Good morning, Madison Avenue Baptist Church. It's me, Jenny, your soprano in Upper Manhattan. Please join me in singing hymn 66, Immortal, Invisible, God Only Wise. Immortal, invisible, God only wise, in light inaccessible, hid from our eyes, most blessed, most glorious, the Ancient of Days, almighty, victorious, thy great name we praise. Unresting, unhasting, and silent as night, nor wanting, nor wasting, thou rulest in might. Thy justice like mountains high, soaring on above, thy clouds which are fountains of goodness and love. To all life thou givest, to both great and small. In all life thou livest, thou true life of all. We blossom and flourish as leaves on the tree, and wither and perish, but naught changeth thee. Thou reignest in glory, thou dwellest in light. Thine angels adore thee, all veiling their sight. All praises we render, oh help us to see that only the splendor of light hideth thee.
Thanks for joining us. Madison Avenue Baptist Church is located at 31st and Madison Avenue in New York City. Our website is www.mabcnyc.org.